presented by Greenlam Laminates. Now, Sambhal is back in focus 2 months after violence brought an eerie reminder of communal clashes that have haunted the town. An uneasy calm prevails there today. I say uneasy because that's what the Uttar Pradesh government believes it to be, and so does the mosque committee of the Shahi Jama Masjid that petitioned the Supreme Court to refrain from initiating an investigation into a private well that's located within the mosque premises. Now, both parties blame the other for disturbing peace in Sambhal by keeping the pot boiling. A bench led by Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna directed the local administration that no action will be taken concerning this particular well without the topmost court's permission and instructed the authorities on ground to submit a status report within the next 2 weeks. Now, the notice by local municipal authorities was stayed even as the Uttar Pradesh government contended that this well that is being spoken of, where the Hindu side wants to offer prayers, was situated on government land, that it's half inside the mosque and half outside. It was public property and that is why they should be allowed to offer prayers there, was the contention the Hindu side made. Now, the legal battle continues in the highest court of this country, but the town of Sambhal remains on the edge. Because Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has not minced his words in the recent past when he defended his government's decision to reopen locks on several temples in Sambhal, or backed the idea of reclaiming the local Jama Masjid mosque that we're talking about, that he claimed was allegedly constructed over the Harihar temple and that there was an Islamization of Sambhal altogether. A claim that his opponents have lambasted on multiple occasions. So the question we want to ask here on the right stand is who really is against peace in Sambhal, because that's what the Supreme Court put its priority on today.
The so-called well, which is a subject matter of dispute before the Honorable Supreme Court today, was never a part of the so-called alleged mosque. This so-called well is outside the mosque. People were worshipping in the well.
से जो मंदिर आज निकल रहा है 1978 से इन लोगों ने कभी खोलने नहीं दिया उस मंदिर को। तो आज बजरंगबली का मंदिर निकल रहा है, जो वहां पर आज 22 कुएं किसने बंद किए थे।
Let's open this up. Sharad Trivedi, spokesperson of Uttar Pradesh BJP, is with us. Tariq Khan, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Nikul Patel, leader of the Congress. And Harshvardhan Tripathi, senior journalist, will be joining us shortly. Let me open this up by asking Tariq Khan. Today, the government said that this well that is in contention is on government land. It's public property. It's on public land, which is why there is no reason why the state government or the local administration should not allow for it to be used for everybody. The government is meant for everybody. And if it's public land, then why keep its use restricted only to one particular community?
Now the matter is in the court, and court has said that you can have your prayer on other coups which have been discovered in Sambhal, and they restricted that one which is nearby or inside the premises of that mosque. This is simply what court has said. As I have understood, you might have any other understanding. Simple means we have to know. Now it's the matter in the court. We have to follow exactly what court will say. And every
Absolutely,
party
the court is paramount, especially since this is the highest court of the country.
Bilkul.
But why was the opposition coming to the fore from the Muslim side, from the Masjid committee in the first place? That's a question I want to ask, because that's a view that the Samajwadi Party has backed.
It's not like the government is acting like a party. Means government should not act like a party. If there is a dispute, two parties, like there is a Muslim party and there is a Hindu party, they'll have their dispute in the court. They shouldn't fight at that side.
The government is a party because the law and order situation is in contention here. We've seen violence take place in Sambhal in November. And it is the state government's job to maintain law and order. And if peace and harmony is paramount as per the Supreme Court, then the state government will have to be a party to answer whether it's doable or not.
Nagar Palika said that you can have your prayer at that place and on that well, and Supreme Court stayed that thing. And Nagar Palika is none other than the government, state government. So state government is intentionally want to create these type of dispute everywhere. It's their intention, it's their planning, it's their execution. So according to their planning, according to the execution, they want to divide the society simply, and they are doing since they are in power in Uttar Pradesh as well as in center. Will fighting against those forces. This is simple. We are just fighting against those forces, and we just want India to remain united and our state to remain peaceful. But
Sharat Trivedi, the BJP
is
and
not
the state
interested in
government,
now.
the BJP is not interested at all in maintaining peace and harmony. They just want to keep the communal cauldron boiling in Sambhal and elsewhere. That's the allegation both the Samajwadi Party and the Congress make against you.
Well, the machinations of the Samajwadi Party did succeed during the survey, but they are not going to recur. We have put in enough troops in place. We have put RAF in place. We have put the CRP in place. The provincial armed constabulary is there. Nothing is going to happen. We just made one mistake. It's not going to happen again. And this is the very clear verdict of the committee out there that this well is outside the purview of the case, which is either in the lower court or in the Supreme Court. It has nothing to do with it. If the Muslim side is claiming that it is within the mosque, they are going to the court, let them come out with a stay order. But nothing is going to happen. We have made it very clear, no mischief will be permitted there. Today, Nehruji's letter has also come. He himself has said that the Hindus were the aggrieved party. Almost 100 years from today.
Exactly 100 years ago, in fact.
Hindus are aggrieved party, Muslims were the aggressors, Hindus were the people who got hurt. There were 2 temples there which were desecrated. He also said that the injuries were visible on Hindus and not a single injury was visible on the Muslims. So he is made because at that time Congress was not as secular as it is today. We were at least 100 years from the date that we had Osama bin Laden ji and Hafiz Sahab, or the Muslims have got the first right on the resources of the country. So the Nehruji came with a very candid letter. He was still talking, calling spade a spade, and that is which has come out in the letter. Let these people come out, go to the court, let them get a stay order, we'll abide by it. But till that order is there, it is a public well. Anybody can go and Hindus or Muslims or any other community whatsoever. It has nothing to do with the Hindu-Muslim issue. They are trying to rake it up. It has nothing to do with Hindu-Muslim.
Why then the Supreme Court today said that there shouldn't be any sort of activity that takes place or any action that's taken as far as this well is concerned, even though it's on public land? Perhaps because there are doubts over how the situation was handled in November by the state government. Is there a no confidence in the state government that if law and order was to deteriorate again, then maybe it would go out of hand again, and maybe that would result in loss of lives again?
It's a public secret that Uttar Pradesh is now a peaceful state. Riots are virtually stopped. Crime has been put under control. The organized crime does not exist in Uttar Pradesh. The word dons is out of Uttar Pradesh. The Bahubali word is out of Uttar Pradesh. We are going to abide by the court order. If the court says it, we are going to abide by it. But till we have such an order, we are going to follow the state government's order that the well is a public property and anybody can use it. It's not going to harm communal harmony if 2 people from 2 different cities go and have water there. It is the Samajwadi Party which stopped the puja in Gyanvapi Mandir. The Samajwadi Party is the one which stopped it in Sambhal. One in 93 and 92 and the other in 2012. What was the problem? It is Mulayam, and it was not even a demand from the Muslims that it should be stopped. It was a unilateral decision in Gyanvapi that the Shangar Gauri Puja should be shut.
Okay, so it's interesting that both sides make the same allegation against the other, that one side is pandering to one particular community. The opposition accuses you of doing that for the majority community, while you turn the tables on them. But Nikul Patel, let me get you in on this and ask you, where does the Congress stand on this? Because the BJP believes that what happened 100 years ago and the stance of the Congress under Mr. Nehru and what it is now is very different. Is that the case?
See, firstly, in 1924, Nehru ji had submitted some his recommendations, and that was the philosophy of Congress, that something is happening in the country, we should go there, discuss with the people what is the real facts, It has to be put it on paper and bring it to the notice. In 1924, Congress was nowhere in the power. But we have seen the communal inharmony that had happened in the country. Gandhiji sat on hunger strike, and then it was brought to every normalization. See, BJP has to learn this philosophy from the Congress. They are telling that Congress is only doing the appeasement politics, but you can understand how Nehruji acted, and similarly we are acting like that only. That you need to take the note of it that a Sambhal is having a history of 100 years of communal disharmony. Then if the government is not acting as per that, then it is a question on the government. We always say that the government responsibility is to maintain law and order in the city, and that is what was not able to be done by Bharatiya Janata Party present government. Anybody can claim anything, and ultimately it has to be the court of justice, that is court of law, and anybody can approach the court of law, and ultimately everybody is abide by that law. So I would just like to say that to the Bharatiya Janata Party friend and even the government, that this is the philosophy of Congress. We will say right to right and wrong to wrong. Don't try to make people understand that we are doing an appeasement politics. That I will thankful to the people who have find this.
Sure. We'll try and reconnect that line with Nikul Patel, but I want to get in Mr. Trivedi. The Congress says, at least we make our stance clear. Back then we made public what we thought. Now we think it's not the case anymore.
Yes, now they are calling a spade a pickaxe. I agree with it. Earlier it was a
No,
case
they
that
think
this-
that's the argument. No. The argument that the Congress is making, that it's not a spade to be called a spade anymore. Hindus may have been aggrieved back then, but they are not anymore.
We had the same situation, as I already said, that the Samajwadi Party stopped the Gyanvapi Puja. Samajwadi Party stopped there. There was Yagyopavit Sanskar being taken place there, a Mundan Sanskar being taken place there. The Samajwadi Party stopped it. There was no problem. There was no communal disharmony. This was a clear independent decision of appeasement by the Samajwadi Party, and Congress has been out of Uttar Pradesh for last 36 years. So we can't talk about Congress in this perspective. We are talking about a place which has been a perennial pain in Uttar Pradesh. It has been constantly in news. There have been riots in 47, 48, 58, 62, 78. More than 209 people have died, and Congress has been claiming that only 24 people died in last about 70 years. That is more than the number of people dying in riots in virtually any city in Uttar Pradesh. This is a kind of fabrication that the Congress and the so-called secular front is coming up. Congress and Nehruji was not that secular at that time. The progressive secularism of Congress has led to this stage. Today they are out of power. They've been out of Uttar Pradesh for 36 years, and the matter is going to continue the way it is. They are the people who came out with the appeasement. Our secularism is, I can quote you the number, you can take it down. 168 people of Jewish origin have been given the minority status in Gujarat. You don't even win a panchayat election on that. That is our secularism. But here you are trying to partition the two communities,
So the Congress is not secular anymore, but Nikul Patel, before you were cut off, you were trying to make a point about how back then Jawaharlal Nehru called a spade, but the BJP's argument against that is that back then you saw what reality was because you didn't have the blinders of appeasement, now you do.
See, my friend told about progressive appeasement politics. I don't understand why they would have that philosophy. Firstly, whenever it is to a government, it is the responsibility to maintain law and order, and that is the foremost part. And that is what Congress is telling to the government. And it's our responsibility as an opposition to bring government to the notice that why are they doing though? And if they are really concerned about the people, then they should take the note of a history. Now this letter is really telling what Congress is doing still since 1924 when it was not in power. Even then at that
Sure,
time.
but so do you agree that Hindus were the aggrieved party, because that's what the letter says?
We always say that whoever is the aggrieved party is always to be taken into concern, and the law must take a course of action apart from, because they all are the citizens of the country, whether they are
Absolutely.
Hindu,
So then why then deny them the right that they are asking for? They want to pray at a well that is on public land. That is on public land.
who is denying? Everybody has a freedom to approach to the court of law, and and government has to support everything. And as an opposition also, we like to let them know that okay, fine, if you are doing it, it's good. But then everything that is in the history has to be opened, and the justice has to be given to everyone. Because ultimately, as a government, it's responsibility to give
Interesting
justice
you
to
say
the
that
citizen
justice
of our
has to be
country.
given to everyone, because when there was talk about reopening a riot that took place in Sambhal 46 years ago, there was a hue and cry about that also. The Samajwadi Party said, why are you opening a case after 4 decades? What are you going to find? Why are you trying to keep that pot boiling? So it's interesting that you talk about justice that needs to be given irrespective of when that happens, but your own ally does not agree. Harshvardhan Tripathi also with us on this broadcast. Tariq Khan, I saw your hand go up. I'll come back to you. But Mr. Tripathi, as far as Sambhal goes and the history that Sambhal has seen, some of the most violent clashes that have been witnessed in Uttar Pradesh were seen in Sambhal. Do you think that there is another attempt to try and whip up that sentiment, because that's what the BJP's rivals believe is being done?
नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि अगर इस देश में 75 साल की हमारी आज़ादी के बाद ये बात करनी पड़ रही है कि हिंदुओं का पक्ष ये है, मुस्लिमों का पक्ष ये है, तो इससे ज़्यादा दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण कुछ हो नहीं सकता है। और कमाल की बात यह है कि 1978 के जिस रॉयट्स की बात की जा रही है, संभल रॉयट्स की, उस वक्त वहाँ के विधायक वही शफीकुर रहमान बर्क थे जो लंबे समय तक वहाँ से सांसद रहे और जिनके पोते जियाउर रहमान बर्क अभी भी संभल से सांसद हैं। बड़ा बहुत अजीब सा लगता है जब पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज कहती हैं कि देखिए हिंदू साइड वो चाहता है कि उनको उनकी पूजा का अधिकार मिल जाए, उनको वो कुआं पूजन का अधिकार मिल जाए। क्यों मिल रहा है उनको? इससे तो बड़ी एकदम मतलब पूरे में कम्युनल जो हार्मनी थी वो डिस्टर्ब हो जाए। यानी सारी कम्युनल हार्मनी वो मेंटेन करना तभी होगा जब हिंदू पक्ष को आप दबाव मिले, जब हिंदू पक्ष की जो आस्था है, उसकी उपासना है, उसका जो एक जिसको हम कहते हैं जहां हम विश्वास रखते हैं वो ना सामने आए, वो उसको पीछे धकेल दिया। और बड़ा उसके आगे की बात यह है कि शफीकुर रहमान बर्क वहां से विधायक होते हैं, सांसद होते हैं, और इतने लंबे समय तक उनके इलाके में इतनी इल्लीगल एक्टिविटी चल रही थी। आप इल्लीगल पावर सप्लाई से लेकर इल्लीगल जिसको मंदिर को पूरी तरह से बंद कर दिया गया, वहां मतलब किस किस तरह के काम हो रहे थे जो एक एक करके सामने आ रहे हैं। मुझे तो लगता है कि संभल में शायद जिसको कहते हैं ना कि नियत ये यहां पर लेकर आई है, वरना तो उस मस्जिद को वहां से एएसआई के लोगों को भगा दिया जाता है। एएसआई के जो ऑफिसर्स होते हैं उनको इजाजत नहीं मिलती है। ये कौन सा सेकुलरिज्म प्रैक्टिस में किया जा रहा है? और उसमें अगर हम कांग्रेस की हिस्सेदारी देखें तो शायद उनको लगता था हर चीज आप डालते जाइए, उसमें मिट्टी डालते जाइए, वो चीजें लोग भूल जाएंगे, लेकिन ऐसा होता नहीं। मुझे लगता है अगर जस्टिस चाहिए तो आपको सब कुछ सामने रखना पड़ेगा, और उसका एक ही तरीका है कि सब कुछ लोगों को पता चले, उसके लिए जांच आयोग बने, जो कुछ भी हुआ है वो लोगों के सामने आकर रखा जाए।
तारिक खान, do you agree that there has to be
बहुत जल्दी रिस्पॉन्ड कर दूंगा, बहुत जल्दी रिस्पॉन्ड कर दूंगा। संभल ऐसे कहा जा रहा है जैसे अपने आप में एक स्टेट था। संभल स्टेट नहीं था, यूपी का हिस्सा था। 78 में आपकी सरकार थी, जनता पार्टी की सरकार थी, कल्याण सिंह मंत्री थे, आपके राम प्रकाश गुप्ता मंत्री थे, त्रिपाठी जी मंत्री थे जो आगे चल के राज्यपाल बनते हैं, गुप्ता जी आगे चल के यूपी के मुख्यमंत्री बने। आगे चल के ये लोग क्या कर रहे थे? दे वर स्लीपिंग एट दैट टाइम। In 1978, they were sleeping. You were in power. What you are doing? अगर संभल था, संभल what was the state? That was simply a district. वो स्टेट नहीं था, राज्य नहीं था, दूसरी कंट्री नहीं थी। आप क्या कर रहे थे 78 में जब इतने लोग मारे जा रहे थे? कल्याण सिंह was in that ministry, कल्याण सिंह उस मंत्रालय में थे। क्या किया
तो फिर फाइल रीओपन करने से दिक्कत क्या है समाजवादी पार्टी को?
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, समाजवादी पार्टी को जीरो दिक्कत है। आप सारी फाइलें ओपन करिए अगर ऐसा हुआ था। बट आप सत्ता में थे, पहले माफी मांग लीजिए। उस टाइम 78 में बीजेपी सत्ता।
But let the files be reopened. Let there be a reinvestigation. If it's found that it was the government back then who you say was of the Janata Party, if they were at fault, then that will be out. Then you will be vindicated, wouldn't you? Then why oppose that reinvestigation?
We have zero problem with any type of reinvestigation. We have zero problems. It's an official stand of Samajwadi Party. I am official spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. We have zero problem. Open all the files. But you were in power. First say sorry that we were responsible. Open all the files. Do all the things. We have no problem.
Sharad Trivedi, investigation open kar lijiye, but you also have to apologize because it was the Janata Party that was in power back then.
We are not in the process of playing politics. We want the truth to come out. That's all what we want. जैसे अभी तारिक भाई ने कहा है कि साहब ये पहले क्या सब लोग सो रहे थे, तो जब सेब पहली बार गिरा था न्यूटन के सामने, तो उससे पहले सब लोग सो रहे थे। उसने कहा कि भाई क्यों, चलो अब हम समझ लेते हैं कि वो क्यों नीचे गिरा था, मंदिर क्यों टूटे थे, अब हम जान लेते हैं कि पहले नहीं हुआ था तो आगे नहीं होना चाहिए। ये कौन सा तर्क है? We are talking about reconciliation. What Nazis did was 80 years back. They murdered the Jews. Today, the German government is paying reparations. They are saying sorry. The Japanese government, the prime minister, the king is saying sorry to the Korean comfort women कि साहब आपके साथ हमने गलत किया था, हम उसका हर्जाना देने को तैयार हैं, हम उसके लिए माफी मांगने को तैयार हैं। Queen Elizabeth came 90 years post the Jallianwala Bagh incident, and she said she has regrets in what had happened. We are talking about reconciliation. अगर सब लोग एक साथ रहेंगे तो सबसे पहले जानने की जरूरत है कि जिसके साथ जो गलत हुआ उसको ठीक कर देते हैं। लेकिन यहाँ पे the problem is that they don't let the truth come out. These people who are saying कि साहब आप 500 साल पुराना डिस्प्यूट खोल के क्यों रख रहे हैं, तो आप बताइए कि संभल में तो पूजा हो रही थी, आपने 20 साल पहले क्यों बंद करी? आपने क्यों 20 साल पहले 10 साल पहले आपने जो ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद में आपने व्यास तहखाना बंद किया, आपने वहां पे जो श्रृंगार गौरी की पूजा थी वो क्यों आपने बंद करी? अरे ये सारा कानून सबके लिए लागू होना चाहिए। अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि नहीं,
as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, गंगा जमुनी तहजीब की बड़ी बात होती है। If that is the case, and if this well indeed is half inside and half outside the mosque, then why not let prayers happen there? Why did the mosque committee have to go to the Supreme Court in the first place?
Listen,
For decades together, there have been such cases in Uttar Pradesh where temples and mosques have resided beside each other. People have prayed from both communities in complete harmony.
How we always sit together and decide on this panel that this land is belong to that person and Ganga Jamni Tehsil, because we have courts. Let court have settled the
No, we're talking about this because the government has gone to say it's public land. If it's public land, the government does have documents to prove it's public land. If it is public land, then why block one part of one community from using that public land? Do they not have right to this public land?
If somebody disagree, government will have to prove it in the court, and process is there. It's the matter is in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will see that what is the position is of the well, whether it's in the mosque or what status has been
interesting because in
maintained.
that hearing today, the Supreme Court said that if I look at Google Maps, it looks like the well is completely outside the premises. It was only when the council for the Muslim side had to come off and say, no, half of it is inside, half of it is outside.
It's true.
And that is encroachment, is what the Hindu side and the state government has been saying. But Mr. Tripathi, last word to you. I saw your hand going up.
पूनम जी, मुझे लगता है कि ये जहां डिबेट पहुंची है यहीं पर रुक जाना चाहिए। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ही तो ज्ञानवापी कैसे खुला, श्रृंगार गौरी की पूजा कब शुरू हुई? 1991 प्लेसेज ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट था, तो 1993 में श्रृंगार गौरी की पूजा क्यों रुकवा दी? क्यों मुलायम सिंह यादव की सरकार ने ये किया? और अभी भी जो है वहां के लोगों का क्लेम है कि हम वहां कुआं पूजन के लिए जाते थे, हिंदुओं के यहाँ विवाह हुआ, उनके यहाँ नई बहू आई, उनके यहाँ मुंडन हुआ, उनके यहाँ जो भी कार्यक्रम होते थे वो वहां जा। इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? अगर आधा कुआं अंदर है तब तो ये और गंभीर बात है। इसका सर्वे ठीक से किया जाए, इसकी जांच की जाए, एएसआई की अगुवाई में ठीक से जांच हो, बहुत ज्यादा हो तो मैजिस्ट्रियल इंक्वायरी बैठाई जाए, वो जांच करे।
The truth needs to come out. The courts are, of course, the final arbitrators in this particular dispute, but that is exactly what both sides and the people of Uttar Pradesh want. The truth, whichever way it goes, but the truth is what remains solid, and that is what needs to come out. On that note, I thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on this discussion on the right stand. It is time for a quick break here, but on the other side, we have a special edition coming up with Anand Narsimhan. This is a special interaction with Indian Minority Federation on the occasion of Bharatiya Pravasi Divas. Don't go anywhere.
Imagine your
Well, they called for an appeal, and as you know, they acknowledged what the judge said about no penalty, and there's no penalty. But we're going to appeal anyway, just psychologically, because frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a judge that shouldn't have been on the case. He's a highly conflicted judge, and they called for an appeal. So I read it, and I thought it was a fair decision, actually. So I'll do my little thing tomorrow. They can have fun with their political opponent. As you know, I'm under a gag order from a judge. This is the first. This was an attack of a political opponent And if you take a look at it, I'm not supposed to be talking about it, so I won't. I'm the first president and probably one of the first candidates in history that's under attack with a gag order, where I'm not allowed to speak about something. And they ought to find out what that's all about. And this is a long way from finished. And I respect the court's opinion. I think it was actually a very good opinion for us because you saw what they said. But they invited the appeal, and the appeal is on the bigger issue. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out well.
Off the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other. And we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know. We just got along. But I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we went on. And I thought it was a beautiful service. But we all got along very well, which is good. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, I mean, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. And remember, this is a man that said he wants the transition to be smooth. Well, you don't do the kind of things. You don't have a judge working real hard to try and embarrass you. Because I did nothing wrong. By the way, I did nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. If I did something wrong, I wouldn't be standing here right now because I've won all these cases. Nobody's ever won so many cases as I have.
How'd it go today? What happens next, sir? Any word? Anything you can share with us?
No, I don't have a comment.
When has the judge said he'll rule?
Have you spoken to Mr. Trump? Coming back to the ruling, Mr. Blanche? This was a highly qualified lawyer. Now, I'm not allowed to use his name because of the gag order. But, you know, he's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that. Took me a while to find out. But he was effective. He did work. But he wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. You know, they like to use the word fixer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. At the time, he was a fully accredited lawyer. Now, he got into...
Well, we are in Bhubaneswar and on the sidelines of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, we've had the pleasure and the good fortune of getting the opportunity to speak with some members of the Indian minorities delegation who have travelled from across the world, from the UK, from US, from the Middle East. And we are here at the Sri University campus, even as we are having a Rising Bharat conversation. So first up, thank you very much. Aap sabko bahut bahut dhanyawad. Thank you for joining us and participating in this conversation. I have Babaji Diljit Singh ji from Chicago, is a spiritual leader. Bhavdeep Dhillon, the jury member for the PWP, and he's there. Gurjeet Singh Sandhu is here. He's into shipping, and he's from the UAE. I have Raghav Gopal, who is CEO within a very huge AI company. And I have Mohammad Farooqi, a businessman, and he's joining us from the US. Now, he's into the printing business. I've got some lovely ladies, doctors, authors, and people from all walks of life. And ladies, as and when we come and speak with you, I will speak with you. And sir, I'm going to start with you. First up, your experience of coming here to Odisha for the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, how's it been?
Oh, it's excellent. The people are particularly from the Odisha is very, the humble and very kind for us. Even, from the sweeper to, the commissioner of the police, they all are give us, tremendous, the experience with them.
You're from Australia, Ravindra?
Yeah, I'm from Australia. I'm the politician in Australian Labour Party. Yeah, I just recently filed an election in Australia. And I'm the first guy in Australian Labour Party history who filed election.
Lovely. So let me ask you, what's the difference, similarity, or perhaps improvement in perception of Bharat as a country over the last few years?
Yeah, the thing is, there is many things but the main thing is, that when you got a strong leader in your leadership, and globally he have, the good experience with all leaders. So, uske karan hi hum logo ko bhi wahan pe they give us, opportunity to fight the election, and they give us, very good things there. Just because of the strong leader of the Indian community.
So cricket में ऊपर नीचे होता है उससे
yeah, that's a different thing.
But Babaji, your thought process. You've come to India often, Bharat often. आप आते हैं?
Yes, it's our pleasure. We are invited here on the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas by our PM Modi ji. We have a organization here, the Indian Minorities Federation. In the direction of Modi ji, he did a lot of things for the minority. Every single minorities in India here. I belong to the Sikh community, faith and spiritual leader of our community, faith. Whatever he did, never know any Prime Minister of India he did in past and before. He did a corridor of Kartarpur Sahib. He removed the GST from the Golden Temple Langar. It was the big thing for our Sikh community. And in 1984 riots, the crucified, the Sikh genocide, and he gave the job and justice for those who was waiting from many years, long times. But that's why I say to Modi ji, he's Iron Man, Steel Man. He's taking with every minority with him, and now we can say with the proud, in next time, in future, not long time, in a year, couple of months or a year, the India is going to be the power of the world.
But Babaji, on the one hand, you say that PM himself during emergency found shelter in a Gurdwara, and he spent time as a Sikh, and for him Sikhs are very close, and you just outlined what he's done for the Sikh community. But there is a different narrative that's being pushed in the US and in Canada. We saw it manifest in Australia and UK. I want to understand how much of it is true, or ye kitna perception hai?
That kind of persons are smaller. They don't have a very importance. We don't have to reaction on them. No, they have nothing. They have don't issue. Their issue is only just to cry. We don't have to give them any kind of importance.
Is that a very small, minuscule grouping?
Very
or is it
small,
a larger?
Very small.
Very small.
Yeah.
Ma'am, your good name, please.
Hello, I'm Rashmi Mishra from the Indian Minorities Federation, and we are part of a bigger group in UK which is called Inspiring Indian Women. And here we are with 20 of us trying to build a bridge between the rural women in India with the British Indian women in UK, so that they benefit somehow, because we have been existing in UK since 8 years, and we want to take advantage of that, the platform which we have created in UK, and it must benefit to financial freedom to the rural women in India, what they make, the little things like handicraft, handloom work, and small cottage industries. They need to benefit, and I'm aware that there are many British Indian women who want to contribute in some way. So I want to be the living bridge to help them connect with the people here.
And the ladies next to you are your friends? Do you know each other?
Yeah, they're part of Inspiring Indian Women.
We are from Inspiring Indian Women. So
yeah, we are registered in UK as well as in India.
Okay.
So we are doing a lot of work.
Oh, fantastic. So any single case study, ma'am, that you would like to outline? What is it that you've done? Ma'am, you've got the mic in your hand.
Yeah, Rajshri Jain this side, and I am also a minority as per Indian laws, but we don't take any benefit out of that.
Yeah, the Sikhs, Jains are all like that, even the Parsis.
Yeah,
true. Hanji.
Thank you so much for acknowledging that. But the thing is, see, we are with this IMF, and IMF is doing great job. What I came to know about this. और यहाँ के लिए मैं बताना चाहूँगी कि हमें जो पुरी में जो दर्शन मिले हैं उससे पहले मैं कई बार आई हुई हूँ, वैसे दर्शन कभी नहीं हुए. जो ये कॉरिडोर हुआ है तो इट विल अट्रैक्ट लॉट्स ऑफ टूरिज़्म. और एक जो इंडिया की पिक्चर है कि सड़कें गंदी होती है, टॉयलेट्स गंदे होते हैं, तो टू माई अटर सरप्राइज़ इस बार स्वच्छ भारत अभियान अच्छे से चला है. और जो हमारे बच्चे थे पब्लिक टॉयलेट्स यूज़ नहीं करते थे, US से आते थे, तो वो लोगों ने बोला है कि मामा वी कैन यूज़ पब्लिक टॉयलेट्स. ये बहुत अच्छी बात
हुई है. So it's
है.
a perception change. That's
perception definitely change. मोदी जी ने स्वच्छ भारत अभियान चलाया है, और like you said कि थोड़ा सा इधर उधर कुछ होता रहता है, तो we need to ignore that. But yeah, we are very much satisfied with the Indian government now.
Give me one case study where IWF or Inspiring Women Forum has helped women.
I mean, there is a disability foundation in Bihar, which is called T24 Disability Foundation, and as of date, and they were making agarbattis, incense sticks from waste flowers, and since last 4 years, we have helped them so much by sending monetary help in some way. Like we collect donations, sponsors money, and they are now, they have got a land where they are making, they've got a lot of support from the Bihar government now, but there was a time when they were on the streets making collecting the flowers, and we wanted to help them because they were giving employment to disabled Divyang people.
So are you now sourcing from them?
Yeah, exactly. We're doing that.
Oh, fantastic. Lovely story. Now let me turn attention to my right. I'm going to ask Bhavdeep ji, what brings you to Bharat and your thought process, and how have things changed or improved?
So we are here, as everyone has said, as part of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. So I am part of some of the organization of the event and the awards. So we are just following the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, who has very nicely articulated that the non-resident Indians are the Rashtraduts. So we are a big constituency, running into crores all across the world. And it is the vision of our Prime Minister to unlock this asset or unleash the power of our diaspora overseas. And this Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is done every 2 years, this is the 18th actually, Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, in which it is the purpose is to bring them back to India, reconnect them, tell the stories so they can go and relay these stories back to the rest of the world.
So let me ask you, you've come many years, har baar aate hain. So do you see Bharat changing? Do you see a story, a positive story? गुरजीत जी,
बहुत बहुत श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ कि जो दुबई में हमारी पहले रिस्पेक्ट होती थी, आज से मेरे को 30 साल हो गए वहाँ रहते, तो इस लेवल पे चाहे किसी भी पार्टी की सरकार रही हो, ऐसा पहले हमारी रिस्पेक्ट नहीं थी जो आज है. आज वहाँ इंडियन ऑलमोस्ट 5 मिलियन के करीब है UAE में, और जो रिस्पेक्ट आज हमें मिल रही है वो एकदम पीक पे है. तो मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवादी हूँ, और परमात्मा से श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के लिए भगवान उनको और लंबी उम्र दे, और जो हर भारतीय ने एक सपना देखा है कि इंडिया एक दिन सुपर पावर बने, तो वो शायद यही कर सकते हैं.
Now let's ask Mohammed Farooqi. So you run a mega printing business in the US. How have things changed? What's different? And do you keep coming to India often?
Yes, yeah, I do come to India often, almost 3-4 times a year. I have my back-end office here. I have my supply vendors here. So I live in New York. What I have seen, what we can't deny about our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is you love him, you hate him, you can't avoid him. So Modi ji ki ek jo khasiyat which I like in any leader, you have to have a very strong head and a very clear thought process. What he has done in last 10 years in terms of brand India is phenomenal. Chahe hum be it from any party that you belong or any party or thought process you support, we have to acknowledge जो अच्छी चीज़ें हैं we have to accept that कि यार marketing wise nobody can beat Narendra Modi. जो दिखेगा वो बिकेगा and he is the master of it.
Correct.
So today when I come here as a NRI, and this is my second time attending. I was here last time in Indore. The overall cleanliness of the cities, the whole entire organization of the event is just another level, and this is the stepping stone what will make us superpower in years to come. बोलते हैं ना, attitude makes the difference. Correct. And the attitude today, India is ready to take that next step.
Let me ask you, politically there is this whole narrative that he is anti-Muslim and his policies are skewed against Muslims, even business. Do you feel any differentiation in that kind of an approach in his policy as a leader, as a
So what has happened is looking at the whole election narrative, the hatred goes out. वो लगता ये है कि the whole BJP party is anti-Muslim or Mr. Narendra Modi is anti-Muslim, which is not the fact. अब कोई भी इंसान इस पोजीशन पे इतनी बार अगर आ रहा है, he is doing something great. There is a blessing that God has on him. Whether we like it, we don't like it. So I always look at the positive sides of an individual. जो अच्छी चीज़ें हैं, take that in your stride and move on. And इतने लेवल, बड़े लेवल पे जब कोई इंसान बैठा है और एक बार नहीं, दो बार नहीं, तीसरी बार, so there is something that he is doing right which you and I might not agree, but there is God that he agrees with him, so he is giving and he is blessing him. That's the idea.
That's the idea. But I'm just saying, in his policies, in his approach, have you faced anything?
No,
or do you believe that if you are entrepreneurial, if you take initiative, the opportunity is
No,
equal?
India is a land of opportunities. अगर आप यहाँ मेहनत करोगे, there is still a scope to become another Birla, another Ambani, another Tata. But again, you need to
Farooqi
know.
So, Sandhya ji, let me ask you your thoughts. How do you see Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this entire initiative of trying to bring the Pravasi Bharatiya back to Bharat, and also like he was saying that you are ambassadors. Bhavdeep ji was saying. Yeah.
So I am Dr. Sneha Kathuria from UK. I left India when I was only 15-16. So mostly wahi ki hu, half and half ho gayi hu. I come every time, twice a year to India, but it's a treat for me coming to India, right? But this time coming to Puri, and it was mesmerizing is the right word for me. And when it comes to Narendra Modi ji ki hum baat karte hain, so because of him in UK, our brave Rishi Shonak took the effort. उनकी वजह से हुआ, क्योंकि it is a domino effect. Domino effect in terms of कि because हमारा image अच्छा हो गया हर विश्व में, right? And उसकी वजह से एक इंडियन इतनी क्या कहते हैं हिम्मत कर सका कि ब्रिटिश में वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर बना. So that is a domino effect of course.
They say no, save the best for the last. So this gentleman here is somewhere on your shoulders is the responsibility to also fuel the AI revolution in our country. Now, is that too much of an ask from you, Raghu Gopalji? How do you see Bharat? Is it ready?
Thank you very much, first of all, and giving me this opportunity to talk for a couple of minutes. Yes, I am Dr. Raghu Gopal. I actually have brought a large delegation of members of Indian Minorities Federation from Fiji Islands.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and what an amazing conference! What a great setup! Very impressed with what I've seen over here. Met great people, some amazing people, not just business people, but people from academia, some great people that have done great community work, that have done so well in different countries. So great place, collusion place to meet all of those people. Learned a lot, sitting through some of the seminars there about what is happening in Odisha, what is happening in India. Got to learn a lot and very excited with what I've heard.
Where do you draw your roots from in Bharat? I know 2-3
from Kerala.
From Kerala.
Cochin.
So you still are in touch with Malayalam? You speak Malayalam?
Unfortunately, not very well, but still keep the roots.
So,
but one thing that I will say that I've seen and learned in this trip specifically, I think with the vision that Prime Minister Modi ji and his government has created, the optimism that he's given to the entire country, like people from the rickshawala to the individual that's working in a restaurant to business people are so optimistic about where India is going to go, and I'm very, very confident that there's no stopping. And I can guarantee you, India will be the #1 economy in the world. It's just a matter of time.
Quickly, we're going to wind up this conversation. One thing that you would like the PM to do going forward, you'd like Bharat to do going forward. One aspect, one thing, जहाँ हम और कर सकते हैं.
सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी का थोड़ा मेरे को लग रहा है कि बाहर वाले जब एनआरआई आते हैं तो उनको थोड़ा सा फील होता है. एक उनकी जो प्रॉपर्टियों के जहाँ से थोड़े बहुत झगड़े चल रहे हैं, तो वो उसके लिए कुछ ना कुछ इनको कोई लग से कोई बनाना चाहिए, एक और डिपार्टमेंट या मिनिस्ट्री कोई ऐसे की
जहाँ पे डायरेक्टर्स को हैंडल,
एनआरआई के जो भी मसले हैं वो सॉल्व हो सके,
एनआरआई इश्यूज डायरेक्टली हैंडल हो जाएं. सो समथिंग अ सेपरेट मिनिस्ट्री और अ सेपरेट डिपार्टमेंट दैट कैन. भवदीप जी.
So I think India has a very strong base, and I would say it's a great strength in the tech sector. AI की आपने बात करी है, और हमारा इतना बड़ा diaspora overseas है, and they are primarily into the technological side. So I think we need to further, there is potential to unlock and unleash that AI and tech side.
So the AI collab can be more,
yes.
give and take, in the sense invest here,
yes.
harvest from
and
here,
we
and
need
also make
India
to
become the AI capital of the world, and the diaspora can play a very defining role in this.
Very well said. Mr. Monty?
Okay, so I believe so the basic problem the most NRI face when they comes to India or Odisha, that no, they cannot use phone pay and Google Pay because the numbers are outside number, right? Either they have to carry two number, one local number, one outside number. Otherwise, if they have the only one number, they have to carry a lot of cash, or they will struggle using phone pay and Google Pay and Paytm. So we should do something that the outside number also could be used with the app like phone pay and Google Pay.
So UPI for international numbers when in Bharat.
Yeah.
When in the Bharat roaming agent, there should be UPI.
Yeah.
So ma'am, I'll come to you. Babaji?
Yes.
Great suggestion.
This is a slogan, सबका साथ सबका विकास, मोदी जी का स्लोगन है. और he's doing well whatever he's doing, we are satisfied, but one thing we have a request and suggestion for the mostly NRIs. There should be fast tracks, courts for the NRI issues for their properties, and special police stations, officers of investigation for their properties to solve quick, because we can't stay long time here.
Got it.
That's a weak point. To solve this, it should be done.
जैसे मेरे से आप भारत नहीं निकाल सकते, तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरी फ्यूचर जनरेशन्स, माई सन, माई ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन, माई ग्रेट ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन शुड हैव द सेम लव एंड अफेक्शन फॉर दिस कंट्री एंड दे शुड कम. तो उसके लिए क्या है कि मोदी जी एंड द गवर्नमेंट हैव टू डू अ इनिशिएटिव वेयर देयर इज नॉट मच रेड टेप. The red tape is too much that kids are scared to come and say, we can't handle properties in here, we can't handle the legal system here. So something should be done there.
The narrative which you were asking me earlier, the Western media picks on things कि minorities are not safe here. तो अगर मोदी जी आकर ये कहें हम सब एक हैं, हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई हम हैं सब भाई भाई, नैरेटिव व्हेन इट गोज इनटू इलेक्शन, कोई भाषण कोई भी नेता देता हो, इट कैन बी टेकन फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव. तो नाउ इज द टाइम. मोदी जी अब ऑलरेडी इज ग्रेट, ही कैन बी ग्रेटेस्ट व्हेन द होल नेशन कम्स टुगेदर एंड सेज अपना नेता कैसा हो, नरेंद्र मोदी जैसा हो.
Fantastic. So he's got to win over perhaps certain constituencies that he's not been able to, and also quell some of these international narratives. Raghuvaji?
Companies like us, MSM Unify, that are leading work in AI, I think making the business environment a little bit easier, taking away a bit of red tape so it entices businesses like us to come here and do business, I think would be very important, helpful.
इस टाइप के जो प्रोग्राम्स हैं और ज़्यादा होने चाहिए. अभी 2 साल में एक होता है, एवरी ईयर हो तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग आएंगे और टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा, और डिफरेंट स्टेट्स में होना चाहिए.
Okay, so take it to other states and do it more often. Okay.
Our media should take over the international media because our children are the real source, which are instead of going westernization, bird should come to become Indianization of everything.
Okay, so we need to Indianize a lot of the narratives and story, and that for that Bharatiya media has to take over the globe. Okay, that's a cue for us too. All right.
I don't have any suggestion for this great country of India. You know, I have one thing which I have to show to my country that कि युद्ध से नहीं बुद्ध से काम चलेगा.
I have 2 suggestions. One is advancing more of Indian culture worldwide. As we are accepting Western culture, I feel the essence of India should also be there with the world.
Right.
And second, my suggestion would be healthcare. Though we Indians are best with the healthcare department, but so there are remote areas, there's like pilgrim places that we're going, so the healthcare still is difficult. So I feel that should be advanced.
Yeah, I think we know we can become the health destination for the world, but we also need to have a phenomenal health infrastructure within our own country.
Yes, yes.
And suggestion very well taken. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. So first thing that there is value of the passport has increased because first I have to say what he has done. That is why my husband is back, and he said that ye country hai jahan, but this is the place to be, especially now when it's rising. And but my children are not coming back, so I want to just request, because it gets very emotional to give off the passport, you know. So if dual citizenship is there, parents like us would be very happy that. Why not being a dual passport, like dual citizenship?
Dual citizen,
Yeah,
okay. There is OCI and the passport, but I believe that passport रखें ना एक ही रखें, दो देश में क्या? That's my personal point of view, but you made a suggestion there. हाँ जी.
मेरा एक सजेशन और रिक्वेस्ट है कि अगर हम ये कर सके कि जैसे मेरा एक छोटा बेटा है, तो we wanted to move back, settle back to India. So we were trying and planning everything. So we invested, and I have health issues, so we invested in insurance. So something bad, unfortunately, we were scammed.
Okay.
more than 1 crore rupees. So I request there should be one law, or there should be some law so to recover the money. That is the most important for NRI, because you invest and
you get scammed. What do you do?
Yeah,
correct.
And that paper was real looking paper. You know, nobody can understand it's fake or forged, whatever it is. Nobody can understand. Seriously.
So you got scammed, and when you got scammed, you didn't know how to get your money back,
Yes.
who to approach, what to do.
Right.
So I think yeah.
So, and as a good citizen, Indian citizen, we went and reported, and that guy is in the jail, but we didn't get our money. Right. And what they do, it's like the pattern. They catch every time someone. So that guy who scammed us, he has been doing it with so many NRIs.
Correct.
And before us, he scammed one NRI lady, 3.5 crore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what tends to happen is the actions of one or two or a few, when they scam 3 or 4, and the word spreads that this is not a country that can be trusted, its people cannot be trusted, and that's the image dent. It's the biggest image dent.
Right.
So I agree, and it's a very valid session. In fact, I was in Sydney, and I had Pravasi there who had met, and they had given us the same suggestion that we need to have laws which are robust and which does not allow elements to spoil or taint the name of Bharat because of their own actions.
Right.
कुछ चंद लोगों की वजह से अगर इमेज पूरा खराब हो जाता है तो फिर it hurts everyone.
And what happened? जब हमने सोचा कि हम पुलिस में जाके कंप्लेन करें, everybody suggested पुलिस के पास जाओगे पैसे कभी नहीं मिलेंगे, पुलिस कुछ नहीं करती. फिर भी हम गए, पुलिस ने उसको पकड़ा. हाँ, I must say they did the great job. हाँ उनका काम हो गया. But now government should make some law, and I have made a law name. It's called NIRMA, NRI Investment Recovery Money Act. So if you can use this, that will be very catchy.
All right. Okay. Chaliye. All right. Thank you very much. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for making the effort, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you. Thank you so much. And let's hope that this interaction between Bharatiya and Pravasi Bharatiya only engages and the engagement increases and story of Bharat spreads farther and wider. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you to Satnam Singh Sandhu. Thank you to Indian Minorities Federation. He was phenomenal and he was instrumental bringing us all together, representing minorities, whichever country we are coming from. So big thanks to him and a big applause. Mataram.
Vande Mataram.
Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, they called for an appeal, and as you know, they acknowledge what the judge said about no penalty, and there's no penalty. But we're going to appeal anyway, just psychologically, because frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a judge that shouldn't have been on the case. He's a highly conflicted judge, and they called for an appeal. So I read it, and I thought it was a fair decision, actually. So I'll do my little thing tomorrow. They can have fun with their political opponent. As you know, I'm under a gag order from a judge. This is the first. This was an attack of a political opponent. And if you take a look at it, I'm not supposed to be talking about it, so I won't. I'm the first president and probably one of the first candidates in history that's under attack with a gag order, where I'm not allowed to speak about something. And they ought to find out what that's all about. And this is a long way from finished. And I respect the court's opinion. I think it was actually a very good opinion for us because you saw what they said, but they invited the appeal, and the appeal is on the bigger issue. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out well.
Off the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other, and we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know, we just got along, but I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we went on, and I thought it was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well, which is good. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. And remember, this is a man that said he wants the transition to be smooth. Well, you don't do the kind of things. You don't have a judge working real hard to try and embarrass you. Because I did nothing wrong. By the way, I did nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. If I did something wrong, I wouldn't be standing here right now because I've won all these cases. Nobody's ever won so many cases as I have.
How'd it go today? What happens next, sir? Any word? Anything you can share with us?
No, I don't have a comment.
When has the judge said he'll rule?
I have no comment.
Have you spoken to Mr. Trump?
Coming back for the ruling, Mr. Blanche?
Greenlam Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks with me, Zaka Jacob. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio presented by Greenlam Laminates. The chairman of Larsen & Toubro, Mr. S.N. Subramaniam, has a word of advice for his young employees. He says, work 90 hours a week, including on Sundays. He said, and I quote, "How much can you stare at your wife's face and how much can the wife stare back at the husband's?" Now, Gen Z is appalled by these comments. They're saying that this will throw work-life balance out to the cleaners. It is true that for the younger generation, the current generation, mental health, work-life balance, these are far more important than what it was to perhaps someone in Mr. Subramaniam's generation. The question is, where is the optimum? Where does one draw the line? And for young people, what really is the incentive to work longer hours? For people like Mr. Subramaniam, who are perhaps at the top of the pyramid, there is of course the incentive of money, responsibility, nation building. But for young people, what really is the incentive? This has triggered a huge debate, both online and offline. And we'll try and have that right here on the program, here on CNN News 18. We'll try and get your views in as well through our call lines, through our social media interactions. But before we go and jump right into that debate, we're getting some latest pictures from the BJP headquarters, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just arrived for what is the Central Election Committee meeting. He's been greeted by the BJP party president, Mr. JP Nadda. Of course, the Central Election Committee is meeting for the Delhi elections. Remember, the Delhi elections are due on the 5th of February, and the BJP has not declared its entire list of candidates. In fact, from what I understand, they've declared just 29 candidates. So a large number are still to be filled in that sense, still to be decided upon. Lots of speculation on who all could potentially get the nod or get the BJP ticket for the Delhi elections. There is Meenakshi Lekhi's name doing the rounds. There's also some speculation about some of the MPs being asked to contest, the likes of Basari Suraj. Also big speculation around the expelled spokesperson and former member of the BJP, Nupur Sharma, likely getting a ticket from one of the constituencies in Delhi. That, of course, is hugely in the realm of speculation right now. So all of that will be decided in the Central Election Committee meeting that is happening right now at the BJP headquarters. Let's open this up to our guest. Mr. Mohandas Pai is chairman of Iron Capital. He's joining us from Bengaluru. Ashneer Grover, former managing director of Bharat Pay. Varun Mudgil is MD and CTO of Cognavi India. Harish Bujur, brand guru. Dilip Cherian, image consultant, also joining us. Let me start with you, Ashneer. This whole idea that Mr. Subramaniam has said 90-hour work weeks, including Sundays pe to kya hi karoge, how much can you stare at your wife's face? The Gen Z seems to have taken grave offense to it, saying, how can you talk like that? And more importantly, what happens to work-life balance? What are your thoughts on it?